Biddeford-Saco Water Company merged with Maine Water in 2012, in part to access capital. Major maintenance and repairs had long been delayed, and Biddeford-Saco could no longer justify the severe rate suppression strategy it used for decades. Unfortunately, keeping rates so far below the state average for so long had consequences. Last fall, Maine Water invited community leaders to see for themselves what strategic decisions need to be made.
The folks that I talked to clearly appreciated the fact that we opened up the treatment plant for their eyes to see it and to let them make comments about it. For Rick and I, that's kind of what we've always done, though. We've worked together for 25-ish years, and that's just the way Maine Water is. We know we are part of the community, and we have to reach out to them and make them a part of the decisions and the direction of the water utility, because we are such a critical part of the infrastructure of every community. So it wasn't unusual for us, but we got some really nice comments about how it felt unusual to the folks here.
Let's have a plan, and let's put everything on paper and in context to share with you, because our message, I think at the time, was open communication and a sharing of knowledge and experiences and expertise, and walk through this path together, because there are some significant decisions for us to make as we look forward.
I've driven by many times in my life, and I've always wanted to come in here and see how the process was done. And
you can imagine we're in the floodplain. You'll see some pictures of the plant underwater, literally up to about halfway up this wall behind you and stretching out to the road. That risk of flooding and global warming and where we're headed is a significant one. It's a significant concern to us, and with millions of dollars of need for new investment, one of the questions that Woodard & Kern asks us all appropriately is, do you want to put your money in the floodplain? But this is what's called a conventional filtration plant. It's technology that's as old as the ages. It works. It still works. We still build conventional filtration plants in the country.
We work in a very digital world, and I spend all my time at a smartphone and a computer screen, and thinking that we're still doing things by turning levers and measuring things out by hand is pretty incredible, given the amount of technology that most folks use in their everyday lives.
I think the company did a good job of keeping rates low. That was one of their primary missions, and a lot of what they did was focused around that, including not doing some of the infrastructure replacement and repair that we believe is necessary. We're clearly at the point where the system needs investment and improvement, so that strategy before of keeping rates low, we don't believe is appropriate anymore.
Ironically, it parallels what I've seen historically within the city in terms of everything that's out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't get addressed until there's some catastrophic or major need, and then suddenly we have to invest money. So rather than being proactive and investing a little bit here and there, suddenly we're faced with a major decision. And I think that's what's happened here, all because they wanted to keep the rates low, which I understand, but obviously it's now time that we have to do something, and it's going to be a big chunk of change.
There were several interesting questions from the group that I was with. They wanted to talk about not only how the process works, but how the facility got to the state that it's in. Is it usual for something to look as old as it is, to look as not well maintained as it looks, or is that just the way water utilities are? You run them until they're no longer functioning, and then you rebuild them.
Some of the little things that you'll see in the report are the fact that from a health and safety perspective, the railings are too low. Openings like that aren't allowed anymore under OSHA standards. There's a long list of personnel and employee safety issues. The hearing protection that you need, the decibel level here is too high. to work in continuously. Up until last winter, the facility was heated with number 2 fuel, with oil, in distributed tanks like this. These tanks have been taken out of service. We're converting the whole plant to propane so that there's no oil in the drinking water plant. This is unusual. This is chlorine gas. It's an extraordinarily toxic and dangerous chemical. Part of the plan is to eliminate this chemical and move to a safer sodium hypochlorite, which is bleach. It's a strong Clorox, which does exactly the same thing with a fraction of the safety and health concerns of chlorine gas.
And it's absolutely, I want to thank Maine Waters for doing the open house for us. And it's amazing the technology, or what they're doing with the technology they have here. And it's a true testament of the employees to work with this type of infrastructure technology, I should say old technology that they have.
I think they were surprised, but I think it was absolutely well worth the surprise for them. I think it's important for them to see that.
The 30-year plan to renovate and upgrade this facility is more than $15 million, all in. The cost of a new facility ranges anywhere from $30 to $50 million. So it's a lot of money either way. That's the magnitude of the decision that's in front of us. Good, good.
Well, it's one of those issues you have to, I think, look long term to see what's the best approach for what's the best approach for the state, and what's the best approach regionally.
What are the options and what do we really want to do?
Short-term versus long-term effect, financial effect.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad you could all come because we could have described, we could have sent you the book.
No.
I think clearly people understood our dilemma, and do we further invest in an old water treatment plant that is in a floodplain that has been flooded a number of times over the last 100 years and probably more, versus building a new facility. So that seemed very clear. The light bulbs went off at different times, but I saw them all go off.